Say it later, what you gon' do now? Hope you're ready, cause I'm really about to put it down. Girl, you know that I will never disrespect you. We have tomorrow, but tonight I wanna spank you. That ass count, gotta make it last now. But also, then I'ma beat it up. Hate on me, but no. Try to say stop when the beat say go. There you go again, that voice is watch you make your girlfriend go. Come on, come on, come on. You've been waiting patiently, wondering when and where I be. After causing ruckus in the industry, making this so she can't sleep.
Struggles they build up, little tears they fall down throughout your life. Oh, it's like me versus her, and her versus me. It's suicide. Ooh, yeah. Arguing and fussing, fighting, nobody be backing up. Everybody in a losing man. It's like the hardest love. It feels like you do. Casualties of a war in the form of our kids. Doing what you can just to hurt my heart, and I would do the same. So many nights you would spend up crying, and I would be alone doing same.
Yo, let's get it in. Let's get it in. Let's get it in. What up, everybody? What up? What up? What's going on? What's going on? Let's get it in. Let's get it in. We're going to talk about it. Hard times. Let's get it all the way in. I don't know why. There you go. Let's talk about it. Hard times. All right. Well, we know Don Russell had a hearing today in the Southern District. And we know that he say, I want to take it to court. Let's go to trial. I want a trial. So, by the hands of Carrie C. Calnan, Special Agent, the Federal Bureau of Investigations, being duly sworn, charges as follows. Count 1. Conspiracy to threaten physical harm by interstate communication. Number 1. On or about December the 4th, 2018. Mind you, he just came into play June, and somewhere May, June in 2018. And on December the 4th, 2018, in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere, Donnell Russell, the defendant, and others known and unknown, willfully and knowingly did combine, conspire, confederate, and agree together and with each other to commit an offense against the United States, to wit, threatening physical harm by interstate communication in violation of Title 18 United States Code Section 875C. Wow. You see this? Wow. Then you have number 2. It was a part and object of the conspiracy. There's that word, conspiracy, that Donnell Russell, the defendant, and others known and unknown, placed an interstate telephone call to threaten physical harm to those attending a December the 4th, 2018 screening of Surviving R. Kelly at a venue in New York, called Newhouse, Madison Square, Newhouse, in violation of Title 18 United States Code Section 875C. You see the overt acts and furtherance of the conspiracy and to effect the illegal object thereof. The following overt acts, among others, were committed in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere. On or about December the 4th, 2018, Russell placed an interstate telephone call to Newhouse threatening physical harm to those at the theater and attending the December the 4th, 2018 screening of Surviving R. Kelly. B. On or about December the 4th, 2018, Russell attempted to block his phone number and place a phone call from his cell phone to a New York City Police Department, NYPD precinct located in New York, and in the vicinity of the theater set to screen Surviving R. Kelly. There you have it. But he said he didn't do it. Mind you, they got him on a wiretap. Count 2, threatening physical harm by interstate communication. On or about December 4th, 2018, the Southern District of New York and elsewhere, Donnell Russell, the defendant, unlawfully, knowingly, and intentionally did transmit in interstate and foreign commerce a communication containing a threat to injure the person of another. To wit, Russell placed an interstate telephone call to Newhouse in New York, threatening physical harm to those attending the December the 4th, 2018 screening of Surviving R. Kelly at Newhouse, and aided and abetted the same. Wow. That's mad charges by itself. Then it says, I am a special agent with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI. During my tenure as a special agent with the FBI, I have conducted and participated in numerous investigations of criminal activity, including but not limited to threats in violation of Title 18 United States Code Sections 875 and 2. I can keep going. I can do the overview, but I don't have time to do the overview. Then he sent a cease and desist email to Newhouse. Question: who are you to send anything and to make anything going to Newhouse? But I want to focus on this right here. From approximately 9:12 a.m. to approximately 2:47 p.m., Donnell Russell, the defendant, and CC1, which is Cash Jones, communicated repeatedly using the Russell cell phone, the Russell landline, CC1 cell phone, and by email. In substance and in part, Russell and Cash Jones discussed sending an email to an executive for original programming at Lifetime. The draft email expressed concerns regarding your upcoming Surviving R. Kelly production. The email further stated, in substance and in part, by now, I'm certain you and your production team have met the acquaintance of the alleged survivors and had ample time to witness the character of each woman and or parent individually. From approximately 6:16 p.m. to approximately 7:06 p.m., Russell, who was at and near his residence in Chicago at the time, called the number for the new house reception desk, which is available on the internet using the Russell cell phone and the Indy Bill Corp cell phone. For example, at approximately 6:18 p.m., the Indy Bill Corp cell phone called New House. That call lasted approximately 6 minutes and 38 seconds. If you didn't do it, how they have you tracked down to the T? But everybody's saying Don Russell is solid. And then they want to give him a pass and saying that this right here was to help R. Kelly, when R. Kelly ain't know nothing about it. So check it. Based on an interview of the individuals working for Newhouse, employee 1, which will be at court to testify on the evening of December the 4th, 2018, I am aware that employee 1 answered the phone call at Newhouse from the Indy Bill Corp cell phone at approximately the time detailed in subparagraph B above. On that call, a person claiming to represent R. Kelly informed employee 1 that he intended to serve a cease and desist letter on Newhouse to prevent the screening of surviving R. Kelly. The caller stated, in substance and in part, that the caller was a representative of R. Kelly and that Newhouse was to cease and desist in its screening of the docuseries. And you got Russell and Axe Cash CC1 if the screening is going forward. You got all this. Russell calls the New York Police Department and the New York Fire Department seemingly in an effort to disrupt the screening. The threat call is made to Newhouse from the Russell landline. Communications after the threat call. You have it all laid out. Russell and Cash Jones draft a statement regarding the threat call on December the 6th and December the 7th, 2018. Russell admits he contacted Newhouse on December the 4th, 2018. So, we have that laid out. We have all that laid out. All right, we have all that laid out. And the only reason why I'm not reading all that is, for one, because I got to get through this because of time, because I want to catch another broadcast. And on top of that, y'all heard it already from Larry. So, ain't no need to overkill it. Ain't no need to overdo it, you know? We're not going to do overdo. But what y'all don't know is this right here. Y'all seen the antics. Y'all seen what he's capable of. Now, for the next 37 minutes and 10 seconds, I want you to go get something to eat, get something to drink, because we're going to come back and we're going to watch his family, as they interact with something that nobody knew about. It was put out, and I'm going to re-put it out today, but it was broadcasted yesterday. I looked at it twice. I seen some key points. I want y'all to think about this. Okay? So we're going to do this real quick. Let's knock this out. Check it out.
It's L. Sean Russell. My book, Breaking from Bondage, is now available to purchase via Cash App at $Miamons1. Please follow the instructions as stated in the description below. Feel free to check out an open discussion with key individuals that witnessed Don the Con in action and listen to expert advice on how to navigate the predators that live amongst us. Also, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, L. Sean Russell, as we take a journey down memory lane. Your support is greatly appreciated. And as always, I'm sending you peace, love, and blessings. All righty. So we are here today to discuss the anatomy of a con man and to discuss particular chapters in the book and give expert advice on how to navigate these situations. With us tonight, we have my aunt, Audrey Barrett. Audrey.
Hello.
And we also have Officer Stewart, who's also part of employed with the U.S. Marshal as well. So he's going to give us expert advice on how to navigate certain situations, domestic violence, violence within a family, how to relay these concerns and issues to police officers so that you'll have a favorable outcome, especially in situations where it may be 2 against 1, because every officer isn't as discerning as he is. And just wanted to be a support system to what we have going on. So one of the reasons that I wanted to come forward is because when you're in situations with individuals such as Don the Con, typically after you have a particular situation or encounter, they continue to victimize the individual by lying and saying that certain things didn't happen. And so part of it is just to expose them as well as stand your ground in the midst of it. And so one of the situations that we wanted to kind of discuss was Audrey, which is my aunt, my mother's oldest sister, and her witnessing a particular encounter and what she got away from it, how she feels it impacted me, and just advice to young women going forward on how to navigate these situations. And so the particular situation was a domestic encounter between my brother, Don the Con, and myself. And we had gotten into an argument, and he ended up dragging me to the porch, which was the family building that we all resided in. She was on the first floor with my grandfather, and my brother, my mother, and myself were on the second floor. And he dragged me to the balcony by my hair and proceeded to throw me off. And my aunt, Audrey, and my grandfather were the only 2 adults living in the building because my uncles, one had passed away. The other one was in the military, stationed on a ship out at sea somewhere. Is that right, Audrey?
Yeah.
Right. And the other one, he just wasn't around. He wasn't in the house to kind of intervene and lead by example. He had his own set of struggles that he was dealing with at that particular time. And so Audrey and my grandfather, who was an elderly man at the time, came to my aid, and they actually pulled me back up on the porch so that he wouldn't be able to throw me over the balcony. And God knows what could have happened had I fallen and landed on my head, my back, or whatever. Is that pretty accurate, you would say?
Yeah, that was pretty accurate incident.
Mm-hmm. And so, like, what do you think was the cause of the dynamic between Don and myself? Like, what do you think fueled the negativity and the relationship between us, and how do you think we ended up on that path? Because it was kind of like me and June, me alone, with the support of other family members once the shit hit the fan, so to speak, and Donnell and June had formed an alliance. So I was essentially like an outsider looking in. So how do you think, what do you think that all the trigger of that was?
Well, I just think that your mom just pretty much sided with your brother most of the time, and so if he said something against you, then she wouldn't believe you.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't, sometimes parents, when they don't know which one is telling the truth, they'll just kind of figure a way to resolve the issue,
Mm-hmm.
instead of just taking sides, So I just think you felt you were under attack all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of feel like, but even though he exhibited certain behaviors early on, and she knew that he was, he had uh, a way about him, she still chose to shield and protect him in spite of what anybody else said.
True.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah. So it was very challenging, growing up in a dynamic like that, and when you don't have that's a support system, from the very person that brought you into this world to help you navigate it and to build and encourage you along the way, it makes everything else challenging because you essentially feel like a failure and you question yourself with everything that you do, and it weighs on you and takes a toll in manners that you don't even realize because it's a spiritual battle. It's a subconscious battle that you're constantly fighting as a result of having this war going on within a camp that's supposed to be a safe haven to a degree.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah, so do you have any like thoughts on what you think contributes to like behavior like that and the patterns that you've seen from him over the years?
Just being allowed to do what he do without any repercussions.
Mm-hmm. And do you
You know.
feel that I was justified in feeling like afraid or threatened of him when he inserted me and began to show pictures to tie me to him? Like, do you feel that I had a valid position in being upset and afraid of dealing with him and the drama that comes along with him?
Yeah, I definitely think so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because this is what he has demonstrated over the years. And so I've just always tried to separate myself from anything that he has going on because it's always going to be repercussions. The streets aren't fair,
Yeah,
they aren't fair. And people don't care these days. They'll try to target someone to make a point if they can't get to the actual individual.
right, right, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. That I think that bothers me more than anything because whew, if you make enemies, especially depending on the type of people that you're dealing with,
Mm-hmm.
then they will attack somebody rather than attack you directly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because oftentimes that this individual is an enemy. So you move accordingly, but your family doesn't know. They don't know what you're doing in the streets and how to navigate and steer clear of, your enemies. You know what I'm saying? So you essentially are sitting duck if they are not forthcoming with what's really going on.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. And so tell us, because I'm not 100% sure of a situation that happened early on as far as the show that took place. It was a particular New Year's Eve, and Donnell and Brill decided to put on a showcase. So how did that whole thing come about? Do you remember?
Uh, well, they had a group and they wanted to put on a show, and I don't even know why they chose not to have it in Chicago. I think it's Wisconsin or something or Indiana. I'm not sure where it was, but I know they had to drive a pretty good ways to get to this venue.
Mm-hmm.
And consequently, they didn't have like in Chicago, they probably would have understood the dynamics of you know, the crowd and the people that they were wanted to do the show, who they could bring in, but they're being out of town, they didn't have a clue. So, and the weather was bad the day of the show,
Mm-hmm.
and the group that they wanted to feature had been in town 3 or 4 times prior to them having a show with them.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore they didn't draw the crowd. So then, money wasn't made, and I guess they were intending to have use the door money in order to pay the people the rest of what they owed them.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't even think all the parties knew what had been promised. to the people that were in the show. So therefore, after the show, they were looking for their money.
And what do you mean all the parties didn't know what they were being promised?
Well, all the members of the group didn't know because
Oh,
Donnell handled the finances.
okay.
So they weren't privy to what promises he made.
Right.
And so some of the things that I guess the guys who were looking for their money were saying they were a little shocked by it themselves. So needless to say, an opportunity came for them to not be around, and they took it.
Which was Riverdance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, they were supposed to send the money home to Donnell's mom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that didn't happen by all the members of the group.
Right.
Or at least by the two members of the group.
Right. So Brill sent his money home, and I just remember him being like very disappointed in the outcome, and he was like really diligent about making sure that he would send his money home to make good on that particular showcase, that event, right? To save
Right.
his name, because he went on to establish a dance company here in Chicago, and you just wouldn't want to have a bad reputation, you know, floating around about you being a bad paymaster. If you plan to move forward in a city, you know, you want your name to be in good standing, because at the end of the day, that is the most important thing you have, your name, right?
Well, I think more than at that particular time, I think it was more than he just wanted to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how far in the future he was looking at that point.
Mm-hmm.
They were promised it, so he wanted to make good on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
So like, do you think that that might have been like the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of Donnell and Brill's relationship?
well, they did kind of go their separate ways after Riverdance.
Mm-hmm. And that was probably, I don't know, I think that it was because Brill ended up paying, and Donnell was able to keep his money, and June supplemented her income to kind of pay the debt, pay the guys, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like, you know, Brill just felt that wasn't fair.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and it wasn't fair because it was an agreement that they came into together. They were business partners, and Donnell just left him hanging, you know, and he had to make good on the promise. So, but I mean, in spite of all of that, Brill went on to do great things. You have any information that you can share with the people about the dance company that he created?
Yes, he has a dance company called Mad Rhythms.
Mm-hmm.
And he also has a dance school called Mad Rhythms Tap Academy.
Mm-hmm.
And they also do performances, and they have tap dance classes for children on Saturdays and for adults during the week.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been going on, like the company has been around for 20 years now.
Mm-hmm.
20 years.
Right. So he, after that show and he did Riverdance, he came back and actually embraced his roots and his dancing skills and took it and built something extremely positive, you know, and that's great. So how do people get in touch with him?
Well, the website is Mad Rhythms Tap Academy. It's being updated now to include the new schedule.
Mm-hmm.
But you can still go on it and see. You can see the old schedule, which the times are the same.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just madrhythms.com.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a number on there that you can call if you see anything. You can also go on their YouTube pages and watch videos of them performing
Mm-hmm.
for Mad Rhythms or Brill,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this question. What do you think is the basis of the I want to say hatred, for a lack of a better term, that Don has towards me. What do you think that came from?
I I don't have a clue because it doesn't make sense to me. I don't have a clue. It's just you all tied up and there was no one there to set the record straight between the two of you all.
Mm-hmm.
So just, children can, it's just hard sometimes to know why children think the way that they think, but if you don't have an adult there that's going to straighten it all out,
Mm-hmm.
then I don't know.
Right, because you've had situations with your daughter and son, not always getting along, but you kind of intervened and, let him know what was expected of him as a man and how he should treat his sister. And so, like, do you feel that was something that was taught to you or shown to you from your parents? Or why, or how did you adapt that ideology?
I don't, kids were different back then. I don't remember a lot of conflict. It's always going to be a little something that kids going to get into over a particular incident or something, but I don't remember anything, people holding on to stuff like that back then. Because we would get up in the morning and go out to play and be out all day till time to eat, and then go after we eat, go back outside and play the rest of the day in the summertime.
Mm-hmm.
And just seemed like when something happened, it would blow over like really quick. It was like nothing to even remember,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to think it was because of the community that we grew up in,
Mm-hmm.
because there was a whole lot of stuff going on around where we grew up.
Right, which was on the west
But
side of
yeah,
Chicago.
but we had a block club and we had a lot of caring adults on the block.
Mm-hmm.
We had the neighbors that would tell our parents when we acted up and, that kind of thing. So, but I think children were allowed to be children more so.
Mm-hmm.
If they weren't in a really rough area,
Mm-hmm.
I think they were just allowed to be children, like I don't even remember a lot of arguments and fights.
Mm-hmm.
I remember jumping rope and all kind, and then getting older, being outside playing the dozens, and but as far as people having disagreements and arguments and stuff,
I mean, but
it
I
was
think that, having disagreements and even arguments are like natural to a degree, but it's when it goes beyond that and it gets
right.
physical. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
so my question is, like, did you all see any of this growing up, meaning you and your siblings and sister Joan? And how were you able to raise your children in a manner that you basically stood up for your daughter and wouldn't allow your middle son to stress her out, or you know what I'm saying, or
Yeah.
hurt her, or you wouldn't allow the situations to get violent versus what June saw?
Yeah, I just would put my foot down and wouldn't let it go any further, and I mean, and they would just argue, and her middle brother, he would just be doing stuff to get on her nerves.
Who's that, Don?
Huh?
Don?
No, you said my children.
Oh, your middle. Oh, okay.
Javon.
Right.
Yeah,
J-Bo. Yeah,
yeah. It
a clown character.
yeah. A lot of times he would irritate her because he could,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
but she would be serious.
Yeah. Because she's the baby.
You're right, and she didn't understand the nuances
Mm-hmm. So
of
what do you think about a mother that would allow her daughter to essentially be beaten by her son?
What do I think about it?
Mhm.
It's unacceptable.
And why do you think your sister came into agreement with that, considering the fact that she does have a very strong personality?
I can't answer that. I do not know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was just a lonely place. It was a hard place, and but I made it in spite of. So
Yeah.
yeah. So do you have any advice to offer to young women that are going through situations based upon what you witnessed?
That you talking about the young ladies in the situation being, I don't know what they gotta tell somebody and talk to somebody who find someone who's compassionate, who has an ear to listen,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know what else they can do, but besides pray,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else they can do if they're, if they're still a child, you know, but they just got to tell people so that they won't, you know, so it won't go unnoticed,
Right.
because a lot of times young people go through things by themselves and they don't let on that how much they're actually going through.
Mm-hmm.
So they just got to find an adult that'll hear what they're saying.
Mm-hmm. Right. Officer Stewart, you are the expert here. You heard the case that has been presented before you. Now we need your expertise as to how young women can navigate through the trenches and come out on top. We need your expertise as to the programs that may be available and what type of programs are out here, and where they should look to maybe even formulate a support system.
Well, there's always one in every family that's got to be the dominant alpha in every family. Mine was my older brother. He was dominant, but he was the middle child. But at some point, my sister was older and she was a bigger lady.
Your mic is not clear. It's kind of choppy.
Hear me now?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay. Well, like I said, every family has a dominant alpha in the family, and mine was my older brother, but
Mm-hmm.
it's so dominant that he could overtake my sister. So when we were growing up, my sister protected me. So
Mm-hmm.
first, when I grew up, I protected her. And girls, and there's no exception for any male to put his hands on a female, brother, sister, regardless of whatever. So women have to have the guts, but the courage to speak out and tell somebody, a friend, a relative that you trust, but they have to tell somebody. If
Mm-hmm.
you have to, at some point in time, you have to go to the police. You have to do what you have to do to make sure that you're safe.
Mm-hmm.
There's programs out here for domestic violence, but women are in the predicaments as to I gotta stay here because he's paying the bills. Or you never have to stay anywhere to be abused.
Mm-hmm.
That's even if you think you do, you're in the wrong situation.
Mm-hmm.
And with officers, they have to be compassionate enough to listen to the story, and that's our job to investigate. Don't judge anybody until you get all the facts. There's
Mm-hmm.
that's every story, their side, the other side, and the truth.
Right.
There to defer and to understand what's really going on. That's why you investigate. Look, you got to look at a woman's how their posture is, how they're standing, how they're speaking. When you're on the scene of a domestic violence incident, you have to watch the body language of it.
Right.
You ask the woman a question, and the guy steady answering. That lets you know that he's the dominant person, and she's not trying to. He's shielding her from saying anything.
Right.
What we do then, we separate the two.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all separate the two. Separate the man and woman. One talks to one, and one talks to the other. Then you reverse it and let the other person interview the same individual to see what they come. Then you come together and you conclude, well, this is what I believe and this is what's going on. But as a woman, you have to get the courage up to say, hey, this is what I need. They get there and they think they have to stay. You don't have to stay. You don't have to be abused. You don't have to be selected. None of those things are acceptable, especially with any female. I have daughters, and I always tell guys, you have to understand. You have daughters. You wouldn't want this happen to your daughter. Makes you think that it's okay for you to do it. Sometimes it'll what's the word? It'll kick back in their minds and let them understand that this is wrong. Some guys are just that type of ill-willed and ill-mannered and don't have any respect for women for whatever reason they might have had. And they have to understand that it's not acceptable. A different time and a different thing. In the old days, it was what goes in his house stays in his house. My mother was.
I think that's still an accurate saying, and it holds weight today, which is the reason why I feel like I've gotten pushback from coming out about this situation, because it did happen in a family dynamic, and so people don't understand. But how do you empower young women? Number one, how do you let them know, number two, that they're not alone? This isn't an isolated event. And number three, that there's hope and that you can come out of this situation. If we continue to maintain this mentality of what goes on in this house stays in this house, because I know that was one of the biggest issues that I dealt with my mother, with me going to the school to share with my the principals. We had nuns because I went to a Catholic school. And so when I went to the school and I shared with her, with them about the fact that my grandmother was sick, I was essentially coming home every day and watching her die. She was in a vegetated state. She was on the first floor with my aunt, and my aunt was down there taking care of her. My mom was at work, and her and my grandfather were the two individuals that stayed home and took care of her and provided for her on a daily basis. But that was very depressing and challenging in itself, to just have to watch the person that raised you, because my mother had me really young, and my grandmother, she cuffed me under her wing. So for example, when my brothers and I would go out in the subway and tap dance, well, I wasn't able to do it as much because my grandmother felt that my place was at home and I shouldn't be in the subway with the boys, but I did experience that. I did it a few times, so but it was hard, because when I went to the school and I communicated what was going on in the school, my mother was pissed off, and that's when she shipped me off and gave me to a drug dealer after this information was communicated to her, because I was putting her business out.
Yeah, but that's every situation is different. But again, you have to tell somebody, no matter what it is or what it is. You always have to trust one person to tell the truth. No matter if it's good or bad, you have to trust one person, because somebody has to be able to tell the story. If you don't tell, I always tell people, if as a police officer, it's not black and white. It never happened. You can throw whatever you want to cover it up or whatever, but if it's not documented in these days, it's a different era. So I tell female, document as much as you can. Document. And at the end of the day, once you go before a police officer or a judge to get an order of protection, it's a different thing. So you tell one person as to what the truth is.
So let me ask you this question. How often do officers encounter like domestic situations between siblings? And is it common for the mother or parents to side with one over the other?
We very seldom it's a sibling issue, but when you do, the parents shouldn't side with either one. It should be a middle ground and set an example is what's tolerated and what's not tolerated. If it does, you have to step in as a nonpartisan person and let them know that this is what has to. If you want to call the police, I shouldn't have to come to your house to tell you how to supervise or do things in your house.
Mm-hmm.
Have to, then we'll do that. And at the same time, when we take over a situation, you have no more say so. So now we have to go by, hey, is the young lady bruised? Is the lady, scratched or what? We have to look at the individual as physical as well as mental, their state of mind, if they're crying, things like that let you know how much is going on. You have to get the individual and take them aside from away from everybody and interview.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, you can tell the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Where they're feeling scared or they're feeling that something's going to happen, or so it's going to be a reprimand after they tell or something like that. You can take that information. You don't have to tell anybody right then and there what you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, we investigate, and we can always come back later and do what we have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Always tell somebody.
Right.
Somebody has to know the real story. I tell any female, no matter what it is, it might hurt, but tell somebody so they know, what the truth exactly is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I know there was an incident with my brother and I, and he actually pulled a gun on me. And I mean, when I tell you the house was full of officers, do you remember that, Audrey? And I jumped down the flight of stairs to get away from him. But when the officers came, one of them, she actually did pull me to the side, and she was talking to me because they actually did found it. But my mother, she just came up to me and she was like, if you have him arrested, I'm putting you out of here tonight. You won't have any place to go. You know what I'm saying? So I kept being met with situations like that. So what do you do in a situation like that where your whole family lives in the same building? So it's not like you can leave and go to grandmama's house because grandmama live right downstairs, and she's in a vegetated state. So it's not like she can fend for you. You know what I'm saying? So how do you deal with that?
That's a whole different scenario, and dealing with that is again, you have to have family man or family members who are willing to step up. So that can't be silent, because when you're being silent, that means you're just as much as guilty as the person. You're observing it, you see what they're doing. You're going along with the whole uh, incident that they continue to bring on, hectic and chaos and mayhem that brings to the family.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody has to, at some point in time, look, you're out of line.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and usually it's another male that might do that.
Right.
They're going to dominate the females and they're going to put that fear in you all's heart. But some male has to come along and say, look, you're out of line, guys. You're out of line.
Right.
So you step back and that's not tolerated.
Right.
Because this is your sister, this is your brother, your family at the end of the day. You don't do family like that. If you do family, I hate to see what you do to a person in the street.
Yeah.
So, they have to be somebody that's willing to tell the truth.
Right. Right. Yeah. Any last thoughts, Audrey?
No, I'm taking it in.
Yeah. Yeah, I know my auntie was very reluctant about doing this because at the end of the day, that is her sister and she loves her. And she's been going through a lot, I would say heartbroken about everything that's just been coming out in the news, as we all are. Nobody wants to see your family going through it, regardless of the history. It's just very unfortunate because essentially, the system has won, and that's why it makes it difficult for us to get ahead as a people if we keep doing ourselves, you know so I just felt that this was very necessary for me to share stories, and just bring on individuals that can speak to it and encourage and give resources. And I just really want to thank you all for taking the time out to come on and chat with me. And I love you, Auntie.
I love you too.
I was hoping you was gonna offer me some of that lasagna you had over there with me tonight. And, I asked you what was for dinner like 4 times, but you ain't say you can come over and get some. So, but it's cool. We still quarantining out here.
Yeah.
Gotta move with caution. Yeah, and so I did get a shipment of the books, Breaking from Bondage, hot off the press, and we will be going through chapter by chapter, keeping people up on what's really going on and how to navigate these streets and these predators out here, because the struggle is real. And if we don't take the time to educate our youth, our young women and men, because there are women out here that are just as vicious, then it's a perpetual cycle that will never be broken. Right. So I want to just thank you all again. What you want to say, officer? Huh?
I want another book and sign it this time.
I got you. When are you coming by to grab it?
What's tomorrow? Thursday? Before work. Before work.
All right. I'll see you tomorrow before work.
Right.
All righty. Well, I just want to leave everybody with peace, love, and blessings. And
As you see, I'm still getting through the kinks. I'm still trying to learn how to maneuver in this new program. But hey, y'all have it for yourself. Family is even speaking. Family is even speaking. So some of the takeaways that I got from this was the plain point of that even the aunt never mentioned of them having complete family outings together, which I find weird, because if you are a family man, as you say you are, then why nobody even mention about times when all of y'all was together? What up, everybody that I missed? If I missed everybody, hello. I was just so engulfed in this, but the aunt never spoke about them having family times together, and the times that she did speak, they wasn't positive. The second thing I got from that was this, like I said and before, his behavior was learned behavior. He kept getting away with it, and it kept getting bigger, and it kept getting bigger. So, as they say that he did something to George Daniels. Well, George Daniels wasn't big enough. So now you bamboozled Robert Kelly. Not only is you taking his money, because as we learned, your mom's account is your account. Whatever you say, go. So I'm gonna take some questions. What did y'all get from this? It's sad. Candy said not being able to have some sort of outlet will drive anybody to the point of no return. He keeps saying, tell someone. There just may not be anyone to turn to. Great point. So what happens when you don't have nobody to turn to? I told you, I done took a nap earlier. I'm rejuvenated. I'm ready to go. So what happens when you don't have nobody to turn to? That's a big question. And I think that's a question for the man cave coming up this week. What happened when you have no one to turn to and your problems are too much? And trust me, I encourage every man and woman to come to the man cave, because something that's going on, something that's said, is going to touch you. And don't be afraid to be vulnerable. That's how you get healed from problems that you can't get no help from. EJ said it ain't sad, it's fucked up. Yeah, EJ. Unfortunately, the family was part of the issue. Exactly. I totally agree. I am Queen. Hey, Angie. Can you answer this off-topic question? What month did you have that rally where you had Will praying and y'all were at the MCC? I want to say either May or June. No, it wasn't May, because it was kind of warm out there. I want to say June, July, somewhere around there. Or it might have been August. It was one of them three. May, June, or July, or might have been August. I don't remember. That was a while ago. Wow, what's wrong, Angie? Don't forget to like, share, subscribe at my new page. But hey, as you see, the con man, the anatomy of a con man, the anatomy is who you really are. But you see the anatomy. No, it wasn't 2020. 2019. It's 2019. The anatomy of a con man is just what it is. And what I'm lost about is we have people who will just jump to anybody that fast talk, that will make it seem believable. But not only did I show you the video of the family, but I showed you the paperwork of when he said that he didn't do it, but they have him on wiretap. Like I say, this case is a case of find and filler. They didn't have a RICO for Robert, so they inducted Don to fulfill the RICO. I can take y'all a little step further. I can take y'all a little step further than this. So that way I can show you before Michael Williams or Richard Arline got arrested, I was working on some stuff. And I don't think I transferred it to this computer. But I will, hold on, let me do this real quick. Let me see. I'll be able to tell you right now. Let me see. Every little step I take. Let me do this real quick. I can do it. Let me do this real quick. Let me send it to myself so I can show you exactly what I was working on. There you go. I know it hurt. That hurt. There you go. Send it to myself. Nobody. All right. Let me show y'all what I was working on. So that way y'all know, like, I'm gonna learn how to move it over and all that stuff. I'm gonna learn how to do all that. But you see what I was working on, and you see the date, right? You see the date. Certain things that I work on, I put to the side, and I make my points. After I make my points, I put it all there. So it's like, even if I don't do videos or if I do videos, my points are already made. That's why you never see me reading really. And because I already study my points. And you see, this is September the 28th, 2020. And you see it's titled The Don Russell Effect. I'm not even finished. I still got 40 points to go to. And I just stopped at connection point number 2. So I did that to show y'all that no matter what being said, I do my due diligence. I knock it out the park every chance I get. And I vet everything I do. And the reason why I vet everything I do, because I jumped off the porch one time without vetting, and it slapped me in my face. And I never have that again. So let's see what else y'all saying. Looking for love in all the wrong places, drug abuse, mental abuse, social displacement, in some cases suicide. Unfortunately, the list goes on and on. Yes. Candy's World have great points. What did Nikki say? I think the whole family was scared. Miss Virgo said, I wonder if her mother felt anything giving her child to a drug dealer. Miss Virgo, I always wanted that. But these are questions that I'm going to keep, because when Sean come back, I'm going to present these questions. Hey, Fantasia. Fanny Pack just got off work. Let's pray she get home safely and don't run no red lights. Hey, Miss Hot Pink, how you doing? Love you over here. Nikki said, each time my mom would go sideways at me, I called my aunt and my grandma. And I knew within 3 hours they were at our door. Wow. Please go follow the new page. Queen B said, not feeling well, everyone. Just wanted to say hello and call it a night. Hope you feel better, Queen B. Glad you stopped past the graces with your grace. Please get better. Willie said, get better, Queen B. Ann said, get better. Miss Hot Pink said, good night at Queen B. All right. So, with that being said, we're going to go for round 3 one day this week. Let's say Wednesday. So get your questions together for Miss Sean based on the video that you have seen. Get your questions together. Let's do what we do, dream team style. And hey, let's make sure that Miss Sean is welcome. Her books is out, and trust me, I did get one. So when the book get here, guess what? I will be ordering a book. For everybody that's sports fanatics, the Golden State Warriors are losing to the Memphis Grizzlies right now. Oh, that's not good. So, V. White said Norman Bates and his mama. They created Don Russell. Charlotte Bennett said, I didn't hear anything about a father figure. Exactly. I didn't either. EJ said, the whole Russell family is just messed up, and I'm only talking Donnie Boy in June. Wow. Ouch. It be like that. It be like that. But hey, I'm about to get up off here. I just wanted to bring y'all this much. We ain't going to do too many long lives. Not right now. But I'm going to give y'all weekend. No telling what I might do tomorrow. But hey, if I go live, I go live. I might jam out. Who knows? But I just did that to show y'all that this is nothing that just started. And for the people that want to keep rocking with Don Russell the Muscle, Don Russell helping Robert, you hear the background of an of a con man. So how can you keep doing that? And then I'm going to send a direct message to somebody. One stink puss. You keep trying to refer to me to get a response. Stop. Worry about your own freaking situation. And you lost your internet boyfriend to Angie. You don't have no commentary. You riding Don Russell nuts till the wheels fall off. Do you? Stop referring to me. I don't like you. I don't want to be around you. I don't even want to address you. Please stop. Just like you dogged Sean Russell for Don Russell, pick your own battles. Because you know nothing. Bookamet. And that's all I got to say. I think I see Sean in the... Hey, Sean. I see Sean in the audience. There we go. She's here. Ann said, read my comment, Dana. Ooh. Oh, Ann said, feel better, Queen Bee. Okay. I did, Ann. Miss Virgo said, Dana, did you hear about Kwame Brown going in on Charlamagne and God? Yeah, I did. Keep your fingers close or crossed. I got some ideas that I'm trying to open up. Sean Russell put the hearts up. Hey, Sean Russell, she's here. Trying to get you here Wednesday with the questions that the people have in the chat. And her said, hey, Sean, and put the hearts up. EJ said, Mama's cooking and the dream team gotta coexist because Kwame Brown and Dana J are the biggest giants on the internet. And that's on E. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I wish I had his numbers, but thank you. I'm going to get his numbers. Watch. Miss Virgo said, hey, Sean. Willie said, hey, Sean Russell. Sean said, hey, love. EJ said, hey, EJ said, at Sean Russell, the White Hearts and the Red Roses. The whole dream team is saying, hey, Sean, look at this. Nell Taylor, Miss Lady T, Candy's World. Ann told me not that one. Well, I don't know which one you're talking about, Ann. Which one? Miss Big Baby Purnell putting up hearts. Miss Hot Pink said, at Sean with the highs. He said he got all the smoke. Common Sense said V right white right. Let me see what V right said. What V right said. Wow. She said, yes, I am, fam. I got you. Cool. See, the thing is this. I don't know Sean. We was introduced, and like the Bible said, like-minded spirits know another like-minded spirit. So, as all the people lie on the internet, I let them lie because they don't know me. So, I've let them trick me into a place where I shouldn't have to be. I let them trick me out of places where I was defending these people and going against the principles of people that I've grown to know. People that I was meeting but building with. So at the end of the day, I let these people do what they do because while they was doing their operation, they thought they was going to kill me, but their operation failed. So I let them play all the recordings they want to play. I let them drink all they want to drink. I let them say all they want to say. My goal is not to go back and forth and engage with these people who look crazy. Anytime somebody is playing the same playbook and expecting a different result, that's the number one rule of insanity. Meaning, doing the same thing and expecting something different. That's insanity. Nothing happened from when they played illegal recordings the first time. Now you play them again expecting something different? That's insanity. You're going to get the same playbook. Nothing. So the more people try to destroy you, if you keep your hand in God's hand, the more God going to build you. So keep going. And I go from anybody. I don't care who it is. I go for anybody. I'm grounded in God. I'm not grounded in man. So if somebody want to be like, oh, yo, we can't be friends. Bye. Bye. I was good before I met you. I'm going to be good after you. What people got to realize is that when you are their lifeline, you don't have to compromise. Everybody's not going to like you. Accept that fact. Move on. I put out a joke earlier that had a lot of people rolling. And I said I went and brought me an African pit bull. But the problem is, the sucker just keep laughing. Man, stop laughing. You got me laughing. And everybody, oh, that's a cute dog. This. It was a hyena. I put that out there, and I'm going to do that every week. I'm going to do something different every week. I did it to see who pays attention and to prove a point. That you can put anything up there, whether they're against you or they follow you, some is not going to pay attention to what you put up there. They just going to look at it, analyze it, and run with it because they got 1,000 things going. Some people going to say, wait a minute. That look crazy. I did that to break a point now. I'm not saying too much, but I'm trying to get on something. I need the two biggest icons and giants to come together and have a round talk table. And if I'm able to pull this off, we're going to talk about everything. From R. Kelly to Stephen A. Smith, Charlemagne the Goddess, Angela Freaky, Envy. We're going to talk about everything. The Washington Wizards, the Lakers. We're going to Michael Jordan. We're going to talk about it all. Just if I'm able to pull it off. Because if I'm able to pull that off, I know all hell going to break loose. So I'm just saying, I will not be contained, nor will I be restrained, nor will I be bullied off of YouTube by anybody. I'm being quiet now. But when I bust out, be careful. Be aware. On that note, Dana J up out of here. Y'all have a good weekend. I thank everybody for being here. Look, y'all don't have to, but y'all do. So I'm thankful. And remember, elephants don't swat flies. You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to be great. You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. Be someone important. Be yourself. Until next time, Dana J say, I'll see ya, and I'm gazone.
Say you love it, what you gonna do now? Hope you're ready, cause I'm really about to put it down.